Hi everybody, welcome to Around the Twist, episode 281. It's January 18th, 2017, and we're gonna get a little bit of background noise coming from upstairs because of needing to take my car into the mechanic in, roughly an hour-ish. I'm not able to wait until the twins go down for nap time, so hubby's upstairs working out, so we might get some that. That's him working out directly above me pretty much. And you'll hear little voices as well because the twins are eating lunch, and who knows, they may join us at some point because they'll hear me talking down here, and it's like a magnet. Never alone. It's a mama's life, so what can you do? So anyway, hi, how you been? It's been a week. It really has. Not necessarily a great week, but it's been a week. So we'll go from there. Knitting. What do I have for knitting? I have the hashtag for Megan knit along, craft along, that was started by Birdleg Bags after Megan of the Cyborgs Craft Room passed away suddenly last summer. It's hanging out in my large cupcake bag from Stitched by Jessalou. And the dog's just freaked out as well. I'm making the Trillion Shawl by Martina Baim out of the Cyborgs Craft Room. Her Asocolate base, which is a 75-25 superwash merino and nylon blend. And the color is called Ain't No Party Like a Cyborg Party. Here comes a Phoebe. Yep. Hi, Herpaderp. What are you doing? I know, people are doing things upstairs and downstairs and you can't decide, can you? You poor thing. You overwrought dog. So, the ball is shrinking, albeit slowly. Squishing down. I'm knitting it up on a slightly larger needle than what the pattern calls for. And I was going to say, did I finish a row? Please tell me I finished a row before I brought it down here. I did. Good. So, I believe the pattern calls for a US 2, which is a 2.75, and I'm knitting mine on a US 3, which is a 3.25. So we're at about top edge, I'd say about 4 feet across, and it's maybe 10 inches deep. This is a very narrow, elongated triangle. And it's Martina Baim's signature from when she did the Hitchhiker series that started with Hitchhiker, Trillium, Magrathea, and I think there's a fourth one. I'm almost certain there's a fourth one, and no, I can't remember it. So that series of shawls inspired by Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So this is Trillion, and it's got this lovely little edge on it. And going by my marker that I place every week, I've done 2 more inches. So in 2 weeks' time, I've done 4 inches height-wise. Going this direction, this way. Done about 4 inches depth on this shawl. So, yay, it's getting done. This is probably going with me to the mechanic this afternoon while I sit there and hopefully they can fix my tail light that they fixed 2 months ago. Yeah, I'm not a happy Karen. They better not expect me to pay for it. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it because this is something they should have figured out the last time I brought it in. So, working on that. This has been my focus for the week, has been this. Until the other day, and I got a bee in my bonnet. I don't know why. To pull out the stained glass Afghan that I started years ago. So, when the whole hexagon craze went nuts with the beekeeper's quilt and the hexapuffs, and I can't even remember what everything was. I was like, yeah, I didn't have enough fiddly little stuff to do at the time. I can't even remember how many years ago I started this. Maybe 2009, 2010, something like that. I had all these sock yarn scraps, these little things just hanging around, and it's like, what am I going to do with these? And you know, any good knitter, you never throw away scraps unless it's literally like 4 inches of yarn. You never throw away scraps. There's always something you can do. I can make a pom-pom, I can make a hexagon, I can do a scrappy, whatever. And so I started making, I had this vision in my head. I wanted to do crocheted hexagons. So I had to relearn how to crochet at that point. I've come and gone from crochet several times over the years, haven't I? I had to relearn how to crochet. I found a simple crocheted hexagon pattern and I went nuts. I don't even know how many crocheted hexagons I made. I just started. And they looked something like this. More like little flowers. I've got a couple here. Hang on. There's one out of that green. These are all socks that rock. Don't ask me what this color is. I think this was a scrap that my mom gave me. I don't think I've ever actually knit socks out of that color. My cattywampus. I'm devastated. I don't have more of this left because there's not enough to put in the new blanket. But so these little things, and then once I got 200-300 of them, I had my mom ask my mom, how the heck can I join these together? Because in my head, I wanted the blanket to look like a stained glass window when you view it from inside of a church or inside of a building. And that's where the lead work or the stonework, what have you, looks black against this beautiful riot of color. So I wanted all of my joining color to be black. I have, to that end, I had 3 skeins of the Loopy U Solid Series, which is their 100% superwash merino in black. So each of these skeins is only 2 ounces. So I have 6 ounces minus a bit total. And I started joining them together and I wasn't happy with it. This is what the bit that I got done. Now, I think it looks supremely messy. It was fiddly and it annoyed the fudge out of me. It didn't look the way I wanted it to look in my head. So I stopped at these 5. Done. And I just went, And it sat and it waited. Plus, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. When you crochet stuff together, there's always this little ridge. And that was between all of them. And I didn't like that. It didn't fit the aesthetic I had in my head. So this and all of these lived in a bag in my closet for years. To give you an idea of how long it's been since I worked on this, I was trying to tell Eric about it and he goes, "What are you talking about?" My husband had no idea. We've been together 5 years. I haven't probably touched this in 5 years. So I explained to him and he goes, "Oh yeah, that sounds cool." And I had this other pattern kicking around in my Ravelry queue. So I pulled it up. It is the Juggling Hexes by Wendy Harbaugh, Harbaugh. But if you search on Ravelry for Juggling Hexes, you'll find it. And I pulled out my crochet hooks. I had been using a G hook, which is a 4.25 millimeter, or that's the one that I used, for these. They're really loose, they're really floppy, they're really stretchy. I wanted something a little more structured. So I swatched a couple different times. I know, I crochet swatched, which is even crazier. And I ended up going down to an F hook out of my little Susan Bates hook set that I have. And I went down to a 3.75 millimeter hook, which is a US F. And I got this bit of loveliness. I am beyond happy with this. I figured out how to join colors. New skill. I actually had to rewrite the final round, which is the black round. There was one spot where they were having me do a chain 3 and it made a weird loop where there shouldn't have been a loop. So when I went over to the pattern page, I looked at other people's projects, and because of the nature of crochet, I was actually able to pull it up on Ravelry, zoom in on the picture, and see that no, everyone else only did a chain 1 there where the pattern says chain 3. So I rewrote it all out, retyped it so I was able to print it out, and we're going to go from here. So now becomes the insanity. So I have one. And the pattern also tells you how to, on this 5th round, so these were only 3 rounds. The centers are 4, so they're slightly bigger. And then the 5th round is the border. Well, here, so you can see kind of a side by side of the mess versus the beauty, I guess. Yeah. That's equal. So these are going to be slightly larger hexagons, obviously. It's something I can just add on to. The pattern tells me, I love patterns that do this, how to join the hexagons together as you go. So there will be no sewing together, no crocheting together, except on that final round, I just join it onto this one and the blanket grows. So now comes the insanity. I have all of these sitting over on the table over there. So while hubby is playing Dead Rising 4 and squishing zombies with a steamroller and slicing them open with an ice sword and giggling like a little loon, which is awesome to hear him do, I am taking and unraveling these into little balls. Unfortunately, and this is the other bad thing about this, because I made these little old hexies and cut the yarn, one of these does not equal the center of one of these. It takes about 2 of them. So I have to have at least 2 hexagons worth of the old hexagons to make the new hexagons, which is fine. I've got tons over there. I basically pulled out only the Socks That Rock ones, and this is insane. I'm going to make basically an entire Socks That Rock blanket, but only using the Loopy Solid series for the edging, which I'm still not quite sure about because it is, let's see if you can see it here. So, see that little loop right there that's sticking up? That's just 1 ply. So I'm not crazy about it, but I'm not nuts enough with this blanket to order black, which I think they call shadow, but black Socks That Rock to put this whole blanket together. I have enough Socks That Rock hexies to get a good chunk of this done, plus I have so much Socks That Rock back there. So this is going to be a perpetual thing. I'll only show it when I'm working on it. I'm not going to show you guys the process of unraveling, but I did spend several hours last night sorting these to make sure that I had multiples of a color, along with going through my stash. So this is going to be my hexie blanket bag for now, this ginormous thing that was made for me by the lovely Amy Froggy Monkey. And so this is insane to try to show you how much is in here. So here I was last night, hand winding all these little balls. I have not joined them together. I'm still debating if I want to finish the yarn where it is, or if I want to do a magic knot. Please weigh in. I've never done magic knots on stuff, and because this is going to be like this huge blanket, I don't want stuff unraveling. I'm just kind of, I don't know. So I just wound the balls, and there's like short little pieces all wound together in a ball. So I'm going to bring the camera over so you guys can see this. Let me get the bag so that we have. Here we go. Ready to move? All right, here we go, people. So this bag is full. And this isn't even all of my, I mean, there's more buried, multiple colors, some bigger, some smaller, some that I didn't even remember knitting that color before. I think this is Sockgate DHD. I mean, it's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. So that's where we are with that. And then, like I said, I still have tons of these to wind into little balls to add to this. So I'll just be able to reach in, grab a ball, crochet the centers, and then come back and just add them on when I put the black round on. So that's kind of nice. I'm liking it so far. We'll see how it goes. So that was my new craziness this week. So yeah. Let's see. How about we move on? I have no pokey things. I have no spinning. So let's move on to Various and Sundry. Thank you, everyone who contributed to ideas for the socks for Sarah. I still haven't quite decided. I'm still leaning toward the Dublin Bay, but you guys gave me some great ideas for future socks for her as well, or for me. I've had several pairs blow out recently, so we'll keep working on that. I kind of want to finish the Trillion before I dive into those, since my theme is focus. Either that or I put that down and I work on nothing but the socks. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. And you know what? We're only 15 minutes in. Let's take time for a question from the Any Questions thread. So if you go over to the group, it's a sticky thread at the top of the group on Ravelry. Any questions you have for me, feel free, throw them out there. And yeah, I pick one, sometimes two every week. We're just going to do one this week, and I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. So this week's is from I Am a Knitting Ninja. And she says, "Hi Karen, I have a few questions knitting and non-knitting related. First, are you and your hubby considering having more children in the future?" Let me preface this. That is a horrible question to ask people. Just putting it out there. The quick answer, and the only answer you're going to get from me is no. We're done. So, very personal question, not something you should probably ask people, just for future reference. I'm sorry, there's a lot of people I know that have fertility issues, and that can be a very, very hurtful question to them, even if you're not intending it to be. So, just future reference for you. I'm not saying this to be mean, but it's just a mindfulness thing. So, there you go. Second, I'm considering going to Rhinebeck this next year, meaning this year, because since she posted this in December. Do you think Rhinebeck is worth the trip, or are there better fiber festivals you know of? So let me look and see. Where are you from? You are from Missouri. So, I mean, I think Rhinebeck's worth the trip. It's one of those festivals, I think if you can afford to go, I think it's a fabulous, fabulous thing to do. There's so much to do in upstate New York, and I haven't even touched on it in the 2 trips that I've gone to there. So, I mean, there's so many good restaurants, there's places to explore, there's parks, there's everything besides the festival. But the festival itself, to me, is epic. It's the biggest yarn and wool festival that I have been to. And it almost feels like 2 days isn't enough. But I think it's worth the trip, personally. But I haven't been to some of the larger Stitches events. I haven't been to Maryland Sheep and Wool. There's so many things that I haven't been to. It's really weigh your options. See, it's one of those I think you should try to get to at least once in your lifetime. Maybe not push it if it's a cost issue, because it is kind of spendy to get out there, rent a car, the flight, rent a car, accommodations, plus, I mean, the festival itself is, getting in isn't that much, a ticket isn't that much money. Try to think it's like $10 or something, maybe. But then how much are you budgeting to spend out there? Make sure to me, it's going to get things and see things that I wouldn't necessarily buy online, and that I want to be able to see in person, things I'm not able to get online or where I live are the things that I'm shooting for when I go to any festival, not just Rhinebeck. Rhinebeck too, it's like the things it's known for, the artichoke French, the apple cider donuts, the big things that it's like a quintessential Rhinebeck thing. For me, it used to be the lamb chili that the 4-Hers used to serve, but I don't think they're allowed to serve that anymore, if I remember right. Their stand had to move or something. Anyway, weigh it. It's up to you whether you want to go or not. I think it's worth it, but I'm also at a different point in my life. So there you go. And lastly, I know you're a busy mom, but are you going to get back to spinning sometime soon? I miss seeing your spinning progress. Thanks for putting up with all my questions. I'm intending on getting back to spinning. It's just a matter of time. It's a time crunch. That's all it is. There's only so many hours in my day, and having 2 little ones with curious little fingers that like to stick their hands into moving parts pretty much makes the only time that I have to spin nap time and after they go to bed. And there's so many other things that I have to get done in those hours as well. Like today, I can't take my, well, I could take my spinning wheel with me to the mechanic and freak everybody out there, but they don't have really great chairs to sit in for spinning, so I think I'm going to stick with my knitting, or I might take my cross stitch since I haven't touched that in a while. So yeah, we'll see at some point in the future. Would I like to? Yes. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Please, if you guys have any more questions, post them over in the Any Questions thread. I am happy to answer your questions. Just, yeah, be ready for my honest answers. And I think I hear a little one. Who's coming down here? It's a Gabe! Oh, Gabers! You want to show them your Pokeball?
Yeah.
Yeah? And who's inside your Pokeball?
Pikachu.
Pikachu. Can you show them? Can we take Pikachu out so we can show them? Here, because Mama's viewers want to see. Can we hold him up?
It's the camera.
So we are very much into Pokemon here right now. And the kids were good on a long shopping trip back in December. And so for anyone whose children or who they themselves is into Pokemon, can Mama show them the Pokeball? Target. We found these at Target in the kids section. It's a little Pokeball. It has a little clip on the back, so if you want, you can clip it on your belt. And then it should be hinged, but someone threw his on the floor enough that he broke the hinge, but it still goes together. And then there's a little figurine inside. Gabe got Pikachu, and Tara got... Who did Tara get in her Pokeball?
Evie.
Evie. So, can you tell everybody bye?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, we'll see everybody next week, and until then, happy knitting.